Israelis from the Ethiopian community staged a march outside the Prime Minister's office in Jerusalem, demanding that the country rescue their relatives trapped by fighting in Ethiopia. They held photographs of their relatives, demanding for rescue flights to take them out of the country. Several countries have issued travel advisories to Ethiopia, as well as warning their citizens to leave the country, citing increased fighting between government forces and TPLF rebels. But no country has organized rescue flights yet. The African Union's Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Olusegun Obasanjo, said Sunday in a statement that an immediate ceasefire was necessary to get the warring sides to start dialogue. It is impossible to take a step without coming across a plastic bottle on Goye Beach, the most popular with tourists who flock there every weekend. About 20 young volunteers, Cameroonians and foreigners, walked the 2-kilometer-long shore to clear the sandy beach in Kribi, a seaside town in the south of the country, of water bottles. Plastic pollution is a growing menace in Cameroon's cities. The Kribi beach is really a beach that's very polluted, especially in terms of plastic. As you have seen, there's plastic waste everywhere, and that's a source of pollution and harmful to certain species. The plastic bottles collected on this Atlantic Ocean shoreline are being used to erect a sculpture of a giant whale, an initiative of the African Marine Mammal Conservation Organization. The whale required 2,000 bottles and more than 5 hours of collection by volunteers, according to the organization. The first step to protect the environment is awareness. So here we have plastic bottles that pollute the marine environment, and above all that can contribute to the destruction of whales through their food, because whales can ingest plastic bottles and can die. So the first aspect is raising awareness, making the public aware of environmental protection and the use of plastic bottles that are harmful to our marine mammals. Cameroon, a Central African country with a population of about 27 million, produces some 6 million tons of waste each year, including 600,000 tons of plastic.
Environment activists and ecologists in the Democratic Republic of Congo reacted on Sunday to the agreements reached at the COP26 climate summit, demanding more action from all countries to enact the declarations. Within the negotiations, countries agreed to focus on the most ambitious goal of the 2015 Paris Accord, keeping global warming under 1.5 degrees Celsius. The DRC uses 15% of electricity. With all the hydroelectric resources that we have, we must go towards 30 or 50% of use of clean energy to reduce the consumption of coal in the Congolese households. The agreement also said big carbon polluting nations will have to come back and submit stronger emissions cutting pledges. As actors in the environment, it is an opportunity to once again send the message to decision makers to take action, to work on and to apply the decisions taken in this conference, because we have no more time to waste. The decisions were to reduce 1.5 degrees in relation to climate change. We said to ourselves, it's time to act. The Glasgow Climate Pact also included enough financial incentives to almost satisfy poorer nations and solve a long-standing problem to pave the way for carbon trading. The commitments made not only by France, the United States and other African countries such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, which has declared itself a solution country. I believe that these are much more important acts and messages which give a strong signal. I believe that we must also take into question the defense of climate defenders and environmental defenders. That remains a fundamental and very major concern. The planet has already warmed 1.1 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial times. Misinformation and propaganda has played a bigger part in the Tigrayan war, given the inconsistent numbers that have been peddled in the recent months of the numbers of dead victims. Tigrayan Desta Haile Selassie has been at the forefront to help compile the numbers of dead victims.
The only option I had was, okay, I have a computer. The only thing I can do is, why not start documenting the war victims or war crimes?
Desta works day and night from his apartment in Stockholm, Sweden. He has confirmed and listed more than 3,000 names of the dead.
From Facebook and Twitter, unless I'm 100% sure. So we have now 3,073 victims, but we have around 1,000 victims that are not yet verified.
Information verification has been hampered, and bodies like the United Nations have consistently complained of access to those regions. Both internet and other communication lines have been disrupted, and in many cases propaganda have always carried the day. The waging sides have in many cases blamed one another on propaganda peddling, with sometimes conflicting statements being issued on given scenarios.
First, I want to see Tigray liberated, and then after that maybe I may have some time to grieve. We don't have time to grieve now.
Since November 4, 2020, the Ethiopian government has been undertaking military operations against the TPLF.
The Constitutional Court of the Democratic Republic of Congo has ruled that it has no jurisdiction to try former Prime Minister Augustin Matata on charges of embezzlement of public funds. The court in Kinshasa gave the ruling on Monday, leaving it to other judges. In the DRC, the Constitutional Court is the criminal judge of the President of the Republic and the Prime Minister. Augustin Matata Ponyo's lawyers had pleaded the Constitutional Court's incompetence during the hearing on November 8, pointing out that their client, who was Prime Minister from 2012 to 2016 under the regime of former President Joseph Kabila, had not been in office for several years. As a senator, Mr. Matata should be referred to the Court of Cassation, which has jurisdiction over parliamentarians according to his lawyers. The former head of government is being prosecuted alongside Patrice Kitebi, former Minister of Finance at the time of the event, and the South African national, Grobler Christo. All three are suspected of embezzling more than $200 million in public funds intended for the Bukanga Lonzo Agro-Industrial Park, 250 kilometers southeast of Kinshasa.